public office of whatever rank and stature is a high trust. Every officer who abdicates his or her professional standards or engages in corruption or neglects his duty because they condone crime through their slack or complicit conduct. They are facilitators and collaborators of terrorists and criminal activity and must be discarded from the system and dealt with firmly.
Over 1 year, a group of brave Kenyans recorded these images of policemen doing the exact opposite of what they swore to do when they joined the service. These videos have given you a front seat to a level of criminality within the police force that leaves the image of a functioning traffic police department badly damaged. Police demand bribes with impunity, and when they aren't given what they ask for, the consequences can be severe. You know, after viewing the footage of corrupt officers taking bribes again and again and again, I've asked myself two questions. One is, how can this be called petty corruption anymore if in individual police officers' accounts there are millions of shillings and collectively billions of shillings are collected every year from corrupt practices? The second question is one that I think a lot of other people are asking after viewing this series. Where's the accountability? Where's the Office of the Inspector General? Where's the National Police Service Commission? All of the agencies that are supposed to fight corruption in this country. It's time for some answers. And being an election year, this is the perfect time to get some answers. These politicians all had different ideas on how to fix this. What's your initial reaction to footage like
Very
this?
sad. They are an embarrassment to the police force. I hope this footage has been used to get rid of them, if they haven't been gotten rid of. They do not deserve to be police officers. Corruption thrives because it doesn't cause pain. Corruption thrives in absence of punishment. I'm sure if we say that a crime of corruption was not bailable for 90 days, people would think, okay, I take that little 1,000 shillings like the police officer on the video. You start thinking, should I go in for 90 days while my case is being determined? People will start thinking twice. Okay. You have to make it painful. That's the only way to deter.
These police officers will not stop taking bribes if we don't deal with the mega corruption. Because they are the ones who are supposed to arrest these bad guys too. And they're saying, why us? When everybody else is stealing. And me, I'm only taking 300 shillings. The other guys are taking millions and billions and nobody's saying anything about them. I know that the Matatu business is giving bribe to the governor's office on a daily basis. You know so this. I know this as a fact, okay? I know that they take money every day. If the fish has rotten at the top, the body will rot. It's not a problem that arises overnight, and it is not a problem you can eradicate overnight, but there are steps you can take to eradicate them. So the first concrete step is not belonging to a leader, it's the citizen duty, is to elect leaders of integrity. That's number one. It's concrete, because you go and actually vote. So that's concrete.
Leadership aside, many attempts have been made to reform the police force, the most famous being a recent vetting exercise by the National Police Service Commission. Dozens of police officers were found to have millions of shillings that they could not account for. Dozens of junior officers kept pointing up towards their seniors about having quotas of bribes that they had to fulfill. Yet the vetting exercise didn't drain the swamp. These are just a few examples from what we've seen of officers who are vetted and are still on the streets.
Kazi yetu ni kukula pesa yenu na kutoa jambo. Ile ya chai. Ngoja, je, unakunywa chai bado unakula sapa?
We also showed this footage to the police.
But it's very obvious. If you look at an officer saying, you said 500, you're giving me 300, and you can see he's counting the money openly. So you can look at that level of impunity. We have a problem. And remember, I'm a policeman. This officer would not mind if he can be able to safely receive this bribe for a year or two. Maybe he receives more than he can get in his pension for the number of 25 years I've worked. So he would look at himself and say, fine, I would be sacked, but I can take a risk. I'm realistic in the sense that I know where it is coming from and what's happening. I know where I've come from. I know the society I sit in. Sit in a society which elect leaders after they have been bribed. A society that fights a good person. A person that has integrity, that does not accept certain kind of behavior, that wants to do things the right person, in the right way, you know is not a very popular person. And this is societal, accepted. Because in these vehicles, some of them are passenger vehicles. There are passengers sitting in that vehicle. If it is something so much irritating, 14 people against 2, they can even arrest them. We have to do something as a nation. It's not something you would say, we would just do it in the police. We have to do it as a nation. And most importantly, we must make the police service a noble service. Let us make the police service a service of choice, not the worst alternative.
So I've just been from an interview with a police spokesman, and to be honest, much as the police say that they're doing something, the feeling that I get is that they're almost overwhelmed by this, because from recruitment to training to getting into the traffic department to even rooting it out, nearly everything has been tried. But this problem seems to get worse and worse, and it might be that something drastic needs to happen, not just within the police, but within Kenya's entire leadership. And this might be the time, this election period, to think about that.
You know, we get the leaders that we deserve because we elect the leaders ourselves. We make very silly mistakes sometimes and then cry for the next 5 years. I think it is important for voters not to be emotionally driven and to know that it's them who are the kings, not the leaders that they elect.
On a regular evening like this, corrupt police officers will have collected billions of shillings from matatu operators like these, and it happens across the country, make no mistake. But after looking through the hours and hours of footage that we abridged for you in this series, you're probably wondering whether there are any solutions to the problem of corruption in our police force. I've been wondering that myself. Well, there are, and you don't even need to go that far to look for them. Evening rush hour traffic in Kigali, Rwanda looks busy but tame by Nairobi's standards. Look closely at the roads though. Not a traffic police officer in sight. Very few traffic police officers patrol the roads here. Traffic lights work and the city moves. A majority of Rwandese citizens also use public transport, but corruption on the roads here is almost unheard of. Compare the story of Jean-Paul Karangwa to the stories you hear from matatu drivers about traffic police in Nairobi.
Ko urumva bari mu kazi nawe buri mu kazi bagufatiye mu makosa gusa wava mu bagenzi ukajya kumwumvisha ngo sinzi biki ntabwo ibyo bibaho.
Why would there be that small an expectation that a bribe would be exchanged here? To Jean Nepo Mbonyumvunyi, the Rwanda Police's head of the Inspectorate and Ethics Services, it boils down to a few key things.
Everything given to our officers are provided by our leadership, meaning the commitment of our leadership, the ownership of the process to fight against corruption within Rwanda National Police are becoming from the top level to low level. But if you consider the welfare of our people nowadays, it's good. But the welfare, meaning salaries, allowances, UN mission, promotion, accommodation, transportation, are not enough. You have to.
But above all else, one thing matters.
You remember, one Edward Griffin said that fighting corruption in government institution is the highest obligation of patriotism.
This election is already filled with many promises about what can be done about corruption, spoken by many who themselves cannot claim to be clean. But there are vivid examples of what Kenya can do to rid itself of this vice. This is Malcolm. I first met him in 2016 after he and a group of Nairobians exposed the crimes of the city inspectorate in Nairobi's county government. Their bravery led to real action on the ground. Today, another individual, who we shall also call Malcolm, is among those behind this trove of footage on the police. So Malcolm, una expect Wakenya wengine wafanya nini ili wapingane pia na corruption na ufisadi?
Personally, me expect kila Mkenya atumie ile staff yoyote ako nayo kueliminate corruption kwa country yetu. Tusipodu hivyo, tutaenda kuwa na the wrong people, na hawa wrong people wataenda kuwa so powerful, na sisi kama Wakenya tutazidi tukisafa.
Ndio ushawapata kwa kamera. Una expect nini fanyike kwa hao polisi wenye ushawanasa katika hii footage yenye umetuletea?
Though the system iko rotten, au polisi itabidi wakuwe careful, kwa sababu hii itakuwa ni kama a collective way ya kila Mkenya kuwa responsible. So itabidi kabla polisi itishe hongo akuwe careful, kwa sababu you never know nani anakucheki.
This is more than just bribery. Turning a blind eye to graft allows for vehicles like this to be overcrowded. And a line can be drawn between this corruption and lives taken on Kenyan roads and laughter sucked out of homes across the country. But Kenyans have recorded and reported impunity before, with corruption threatening to destroy everything it touches in this country. Could it be regular Kenyans who save the day and put predators in their place?
Sirisa 50 bob, Olivia Pop, tukitaka scandal, switch on news, Eurobond, hatuwezi enda polisi, kuna pesa agent kando ya station nje, hatuwezi endea media, sijanunua nyama lately, so sijasoma gazeti, hatuwezi endea judiciary, hawataki my 2 cents, yezi toshea briefcase, kuna handshake ya aina mbili ya kukutulia hali na ya kufupisha mkono refu ya serikali. Na nikiendea kanisa wanataka mbegu from the fruits of my labor. Uwe mtaka mkale hata mkikuyu, hebu enda vipe sari what they do to you. Utaekwa pingo ubebe juu kwa juu, uiba ni atakiri usiku kutu. Shika yeye huyo, mtupe ndani huyo, alipe huyo, alipe huyo. Shika yeye tupa ndani huyo, alipe huyo. Mwize hawajatoa kichwa kwa pilo na rauka soko, nipate school fees, food kwa dish na kitu kidogo. Ya wakubwa wakishuka gari namba plates za green, gavana umbwa koko wako waeke kwa leash. Tuliongea tukajipata kwa ambulance, I wish wangetumia same kutupa services. Energy, hope yako anajua, hako kwa kuota anafry. Ulibai na pasa haramu, kuza kibiriti jehanamu, hakuna profit beat. Hatufikishi kwa list ya Forbes, maumivu ya deep heat row. Hii haso, beba koto, na skari wa kanto, toka kijiko. Save a plate. Uwe mtaka mkale, hata mkikuyu, hebu enda vipe sari what they do to you. Utaekwa pingo, ubebe juu kwa juu, uiba ni atakiri usiku kutu. Huyo, shika yeye huyo, mtupe ndani huyo, alipe huyo, alipe huyo. Shika yeye tupa ndani huyo, alipe huyo. Mwize tia gasi, tafash, opportunity ya kuuza maji, handkerchief, more cash, bullet kutu dispass, badala kuse for Al-Shabaab. Playground waneza grab, lakini wezi kanyaga. Kidero grass, mtoto wako ulimwambia siwe hoka, na school fees yake ilipona hoka after kukuhonga. I know you're a father who's trying to be a provider, when your son is a father who's trying to be a provider. Would you let me feel his food for